Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show. Today we're going to look at how a critic would analyze red wine. Very similar to white wine, just a little bit different because red wines tend to show more tannins, and there's different things you're looking for in a red wine than a white wine. But before I get started, I'd like to thank my friends for continuing to give me input on this show, and hopefully things are becoming more refined. A friend of mine stopped by yesterday and mentioned that perhaps I could tighten it up a little bit. He's not the first one that said that, so I'm going to try and make these a little briefer. I want to, it's just that sometimes I talk too much because, you know, hey, I'm excited about wine, I can't help it. Looking forward to the weekend, a lot of good football coming up. Hopefully you get a chance to see some of the games. But let's get started right away. The first wine we're going to look at is from Washington State, Arbor Crest, Cabernet Franc. Now Cabernet Franc is an interesting one. Let me give you a picture of this. It's from the Carneros Vineyards, Columbia Valley, 2011, and this one rolls in at $22. Alright. Now Cabernet Franc is interesting because it's one of the lower tannin style wines. In fact, both of these wines are. Wines that show the most tannins in reds would be Cabernet Sauvignon, Nebbiolo, Syrah, Tannat. Those are all high tannin, skin tannin wines. Skin, seeds, and stems are what give the wine their tannins, along with oak when they give it oak treatment in a barrel. Cabernet Franc is interesting because it's used primarily as a blending wine, especially in Bordeaux. They blend it with the Merlot, Cab Franc, Petit Verdot, and Cabernet Sauvignon. It's actually related to Cabernet Sauvignon, and on the vine it looks very similar. But enough of that. Here I go again. You're looking for certain elements in a Cab Franc as a critic when it's done as a sole varietal. Cab Franc tends to be can be herbaceous, showing a lot of green bell pepper. It shouldn't be tannic unless it was treated heavily with wood, but even the ones I've tasted that have been treated with wood tend to get a mocha vanilla flavor versus higher tannins. You're looking also for other basic things in a Cabernet Franc, and the wines from Chinon in the Loire Valley are really herbaceous, and a lot of people are off-put by that, but that's what you're expecting from my Cabernet Franc. So let's see what we get on the nose with this one. Well, definitely the green bell pepper, the veggie elements are coming through. Did I mention it was $22? Yes, I think I did. Get a little dusty components, some minerality. A little branchy. All the things you would expect from a Cabernet Franc on the nose. So far, so good. I gotta check the alcohol on this. It seemed like I got a little bit of an alcohol burn. Just a slight one. Where is it? Can't spot it. So I get a little heat. It feels like there's definitely I get an element of branchy kind of twiggy thing going on. Maybe a little lettuce. There's raspberry there. There's a little bit of pepper. That's a very common trait of Cabernet Franc, is the peppery aspect. I'm getting a little bit of acidity on the backside. I can feel some tannins, some wood tannins perhaps on the back end, very slight. Oh, got myself in the eye. Wow. Gotta be careful. Ooh. Anyway, no, it's it's got a lot of the elements that you're looking for in a Cab Franc. It has good balance. There's good acid, although it's not the predominant part of it. There's a nice raspberry flavor going on. The vegetal part kind of hangs around, but it's not out of balance. There's a nice balance to this wine of spice. So it starts off nice, hits your palate good, has nice flow across the palate, and then finishes with a nice kind of peppery raspberry, a little bit of twig, and bell pepper. Not a lot of complexity to this wine, but it's got some good things going on. When I mean complexity, it changes in flavor throughout without becoming herky-jerky. You still want that nice flow, but you want different elements coming through. Not a bad wine. It's 22 bucks. It certainly isn't what I'd call in the super value category, but for what it is, I'm going to give it a C+. And I say that because of the lack of complexity. That's it. I don't think it's a very interesting wine. It has some good things about it, but it lacks interest on the palate. So C+. That's why I'm giving it that grade. Let's move on. Now we have a Pinot Noir from California, Carneros. And again, Pinot Noir is not a high tannic wine. It doesn't have a lot of skin tannins. It's from Steele, Carneros Pinot Noir, 2008, Durell Vineyard. And this one rolls in at $26. I always like the Steele label. Very well done. So when a critic approaches a Pinot Noir from California, they're expecting maybe a little more baby fat, California sunshine, love handles, whatever you want to call it, because it's a little warmer down in California. But you can't stereotype it, because there are Pinot Noirs from California that have a very Burgundian style to them. That's a phrase we use. So they're a lot like the French versions of Pinot Noir. They still have a more weight, however, because of the sunshine. And then you get up into the Willamette Valley where it's a little cooler. You definitely get Pinot Noirs that are lighter. But that's not what you're expecting when you're going with a California Pinot Noir. So let's see what we get on the nose. So I get a little burnt match component, some cherries. A little tiny hit of stink, which I like. And us wine geeks, we always like the stink because that translates a lot of times on the palate into something really good. So aromatically, this shows a lot. And like I said, you can't always, my grade doesn't weigh entirely on aromatics because I've tasted many wines, as I said, and I don't mean to beat a dead horse here, that didn't have a very good nose, but tasted wonderful on the palate. Let's see what we get. Good weight, nice smooth, polished fruit. It does taste like a Pinot Noir. That's the first thing that, okay, does this thing taste like a Pinot Noir? That one tasted like a Cab Franc. This one does taste like a Pinot Noir. It has a little dark cherries, black licorice. You get that little burnt match component kind of hangs in there. It's got good acidity, so it's fresh on the finish, which I like. This is not your typical California Sunshine Pinot Noir. There is more weight on the palate, but it shows nice finesse. Exactly what you would expect from a Pinot Noir. It shows most of its weight on the mid palate. It kind of has this nice like little oomph in the mid palate, then it finishes off really nice. I even get a little bit of spice on the back end. I like the acidity. This baby will lay down another 5 to 8 years easily. It's a good bottle of wine. It's $26. It's a good value for $26. I'm going to give this one an A. I don't see any flaws in it. It's got good front palate, nice mid palate, good flow, polished fruit, nice acidity, good structure. That's a good bottle of wine. Here's to keeping the snob out of wine. Have a great weekend, and thanks for watching.